Hello my friends and welcome. Now today we're going to try and create something totally different. We're going to try and create a Neapolitan medley of meats. Now this refers to the ice cream, the three flavours in one, strawberry, vanilla and chocolate. And we're going to try and recreate that with meat. So what we have is some beef, some chicken and some pork. And we're going to try and recreate that three colour pattern and wrap that in some prosciutto ham. Now we are going to use a rather controversial ingredient today, which is this transglutaminase or meat glue. Now there are some shady tricks that go on in the industry with this sort of product, which of course it goes without saying that I'm completely against, but for something like this I thought I would give it a go. It's the first time I've ever used it and we'll see how we get on. So like I say, we've got some beef. This is a piece of rump steak. We have a chicken breast, and this is a pork fillet that I've cured for a week in some curing salt and pepper. And of course we have prosciutto ham here, the meat glue and a vacuum pouch which is safe to go in a pan of boiling water. So we'll set everything to one side. And the first job is to trim all of the meats down to the correct size. Now we're going to have to go off the smallest piece of meat, which is this piece of beef. It's just a piece of calf rump steak. So we're going to trim these two down to roughly the same sort of size as this beef. So you can see the pork's not a million miles off. So we'll just slice through there. We'll just take a little piece off the end. We want to try and keep everything pretty uniform. There you can see that pork's quite solid. It's because it's been cured. It's almost like a piece of bacon. So they look quite similar. Now when the beef is cooked, this is going to be the chocolate ice cream because we have a brown colour. The reason I cured the pork was to give it a reddish pinkish hue when it's cooked, just like bacon. And of course the chicken will be the white of vanilla. So we'll just trim this piece of chicken down. And we'll take it from the middle. We'll just take a little bit more off. And there we have three roughly equal pieces. Now we'll set this to one side. I'll probably make a stir fry with these scraps. That is one thing in butchery, waste nothing. And we'll set these to one side just for now. So the idea is we're going to lay this prosciutto down. We're going to sprinkle the meat glue on top, pile the pork, chicken and beef on top of here and roll it up nice and tight with some cling film, and then we're going to boil it in a pan of water or a sous vide bath if you have one, until the chicken is up to the correct temperature, which is 75 degrees. So we'll set up the cling film and we'll get assembling. We've got the cling film set up now. What we're going to do is take out this prosciutto. This stuff is really wafer thin. I'm going to lay this on top of cling film. And that stuff is super thin, but there we have it. That is the prosciutto laid out nice and flat. Now we're just going to dust a very small amount of the meat glue onto the surface of the prosciutto. And I know a lot of people will worry about the health effects of this transglutamase because it's not really fully understood if there are any serious health effects that go alongside it. But a very small quantity like this, I'm sure, won't do any harm at all. So just rub that in, and then with our pieces of meat, again we'll just very lightly sprinkle the surfaces with this meat glue. We are really only using very tiny quantities. Less than probably 10 grams. And how often are you going to make this really? Not very, I would imagine. So now we've got beef down and the cured pork. Again, just dusting each piece of meat with a small quantity of the meat glue. And what this actually does, it's an enzyme that breaks down the surface of the meat and it allows it to bind to similar surfaces. So the idea being that the surface area of each of these pieces of meat will break down and fuse with the surrounding meat. So there we've got the brown, the pink and the white. So time to roll this up. To do that, what we're going to do is, might actually sit that one, nestle that one in there. I'm just going to use the cling film keep everything nice and tight. And we'll cut that off there. What we're going to do is roll this up in a layer of cling film and get some tension on there. And just roll it up nice and tight. And really, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed because I have no idea how this is going to work. I'm just going to roll this nice and tight. Into a nice round cylindrical shape, just like that. And what we're going to do is I'll tie the ends off and we're going to boil it, we're going to pop this into our vacuum pouch. As you can see on here, you can cook this up to 121 degrees. So we'll sit that in there, we'll vacuum pack this, and we're going to cook it for probably about 45 minutes on just a gentle simmer, just until the chicken reaches that internal temperature of 75 degrees. And if you don't have a sous vide bath that you can set to the right temperature, just use a pan and keep the sort of temperature of the water fairly constant. So we'll pop this into, we'll tie the ends off, we'll pop this into the vacuum pouch and we'll cook this for about 45 minutes. Okay, so we've cooked this for about 45 minutes in just a simmering pan of water. Just open this up now. What we're going to do is brown it off in a frying pan, just in a little bit of oil. So we'll just take it out of the cling film. And we'll dry it off a little bit, and then we'll just brown it off, and I'll show you the results in just a second. Okay, so we just browned that off in a frying pan with a little bit of oil, and now we will cut into this and see how it's turned out. So we'll take some slices off here. There you can see it kind of worked. You can see the brown, white and pink, so I'm reasonably happy with that. It's not too bad for a first attempt, and I think I could definitely improve it. You can see I possibly should have used a little bit more of the meat glue around the outside of the prosciutto just to give it a firmer bond, but it certainly looks reasonably well finished, so not too bad. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have, please leave a like or subscribe to the channel if you want regular updates. Thanks for watching.